is it worth it to stay in WordPress? And so businesses are evaluating the cost of WordPress, if it's effective for their business and their marketing, and they're looking at alternatives. And one of the key players right now is actually Webflow. Webflow is gaining popularity relatively quickly. So I'm wondering, what are some of the key differences between WordPress and Webflow?
So a open source content management system that's heavy code banks compared to a low code, no code, or headless CMS. Those are really the two different kind of equations you're looking at. Webflow being one of them, right? There's also Node.js, there's React, and so forth that are previously, prior to even this year, they used to be too expensive options and require too much skill as far as your development level to be able to get access to those. So I would have even said, if we went back 2 years or 3 years ago, that we should have technically been getting into a headless, componentized, decoupled, low code, no code environment 2 to 3 years ago. But even then it was cost prohibitive for us. The cost of the talent of developers and then the pass on cost to a small business was too high. It's not anymore. So it's not anymore. So that's something we've been doing. You guys know, over the last year, we've invested in upskilling our team, bringing on experts that are capable of operating and building in a low code, no code, decoupled, componentized, headless environment. Those are the key phrases versus WordPress themes and plugins, which is a WordPress environment. The difference is when you think of a website that's built in WordPress, like I said, it's very heavy, very code intensive. You can have a rookie technically build one because of all the free plugins from all over the world, and because of the free themes and $35 themes from all over the world. So they've figured out how to get where anyone can technically build a WordPress. Doesn't mean it's right, but anybody can technically build one. And if we transition and compare that to a low code, no code, componentized, decoupled environment, it's more like an app. So in an app-based environment, in WordPress, you look at global CSS or CSS containers, the stylization requirements that help you build a website. In a decoupled and componentized environment, you're thinking much more strategically, not about the website you're building today, but about the website you want this to become in a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. So thinking more strategically about the components that may be used across different pages and building a component library, decoupling the different elements of the website. So it's not just a page is a page is a page, but a component can be decoupled from the main page layout, and that component can be applied anywhere in the website. So I'll give you a less complicated example. So if we have a promotions area where you have your most frequently updated promotions. In WordPress, somebody's going to build a page and it's going to say promotions, and you're going to put your promotions on there. And throughout the rest of the website, you're going to reference a link, this little link that says go visit and see our promotions. Because if you were to create promotions and place them all over the entire website, you would be editing hundreds of pages or 30 pages or 40 pages. You would have to edit every one of them. Very time consuming, very costly. In an app environment, you build a component that is a promotions component. That component can be applied because it's decoupled through the whole website. And if you make changes to the master component, then it automatically updates that component everywhere it lies throughout the entire website. So your ability to think differently about your website it's huge, right? If I want a featured product, I create a component and I say what pages throughout the website do I want to share that featured component. If you're doing a heat pump promotion, or you're doing a indoor air quality testing promotion and you want that to display everywhere, build the component, apply to multiple pages, boom, you're done. So that's one element. low code, no code framework, it allows you to use a library of code, not plugins, but a library of code that short code. So let's say this is, I don't know, I have nail polish here. Let's say this nail polish represents 3,000 lines of code that contain a module that has 6 elements with picture, heading, text, and call to action. That's what this is. So if I put this nail polish, this is a bad example, anywhere on the website, that page where this nail polish exists doesn't have 3,000 lines of code to represent those 6 containers with an image, a heading, and text. It just has this code, this little tiny, and this code represents a code library where all of the elements, all of that code sits. So that this is the instructions for what you want that container or that section or that header or that page or whatever it is, component to do. When Google only has to look at this short code and then boom, see all your text, see your promotion, see your images, see your location, see your SEO, see your metadata, because this didn't take up the entire crawl space, it can get to the content faster, the page loads faster, the mobile speed is faster, and now you are able, let's say like items, one person has the same page as you, you're in the same market, they're going after AC installation, they're going after AC installation, they both have 1,000 words of content on that page. The faster loading one, that wins. You win because of the technology and framework. You're both applying the same strategy, but the difference is the framework you're in is going to produce better results faster.
So if I'm logging on to a low-code website, what does that mean for me, especially in terms of speed and usability?
Well, for you specifically, you are young and impatient. And you expect that when you go to a website, because I've seen you search before, when you go to a website, you expect boom, results. You expect your answers, you expect boom, results, and you expect to be able to make a decision and take action instantaneously. And I've seen you also click back real quick. So, some of us older people, we might be a little more patient and dink around with our phone. But for people that are in maybe areas that are more rural areas that have slower internet speeds, this becomes really, really important. If you're targeting more technically advanced or younger, faster, then this becomes really, really, really important. And then for everyone else, all us old people, it's a great benefit when something opens fast. Like, I don't know if I click off a website specifically if it loads fast, I get a little frustrated here and there, but for the end consumer, you have load times, which we want instantaneous. It's going to provide that. It gives you the ability to start including your consumer as a part of your evaluation. If I have somebody visit my website, I'm going to start asking my consumers, hey, why'd you visit? What was your experience? How do you feel about the site? Is there anything you would do different that would make it more user-friendly for you? And that's something that all business owners should be doing. And when you're in a low-code app environment, you can now start taking that feedback real time and submitting it back to your web team. And instead of spending all your money on building a new website every 2 years and making no incremental improvements over a 2-year period, start thinking smarter and get consumer feedback. Why'd you visit? What'd you think? What can we do better? That's a great recommendation. Let me get that to my web team. Now the web team can make changes faster so you can start improving not only the experience, but getting incremental performance enhancements because you're not spending money on rebuilding a site every 2 years. You take that money and turn it into a monthly investment that you use for making incremental changes in your website to be able to improve performance right freaking now. And your marketing dollars, you take $1 and better leverage it, and you're now able to maximize that dollar to the fullest potential versus let that dollar degrade over time with all of the plugins and the code and the website and everything else that's not getting touched. Your marketing dollars become more valuable.